What's going on YouTube? Shokio. As you can see, I'm back home. I just came down for the weekend to, chill with BBC and all that stuff. And I know a lot of you may be tired of the next generation talk, but like I said before, I really hated this generation. I am tired of this generation. Why? Because it's full of Call of Duty, and because of Call of Duty's success, a bunch of developers try to make Call of Duty clones and just end up, ultimately failing, you know, full of on disc DLC, sneaky ass greedy developers trying to just squeeze every cent out of us gamers. A bunch of unoriginal games. A company makes a successful game in this genre, and for every other game in that genre made from that point forward, every other company tries to copy that same formula. This gen has been absolutely terrible. So that's why I talk about next gen so much. But this is going to be a video about the Xbox 720. Of course, it's not going to be called that. I'm just saying that because that's what it's mostly referred to as. And I know a lot of you are going to take this as a hate video, but I'm not going to say anything because that's expected. I'm tired of explaining, or because I'm talking negatively about something. That doesn't mean I hate the brand and I hate the company, whatever, stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that. But the Xbox 720, and this is pretty much going to be completely based off of the rumors, but also just some. It's going to be based off of what Microsoft is currently doing right now too, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. But rumors like it won't be able to use games. Rumors like it's going to be digital download only. Stuff like that does not make me excited to buy an Xbox 720. And I really hope that these rumors are not true. But the main problem I have here is it's Microsoft's lack of care to create first party exclusives. And they do have a couple of franchises, like a quality franchise like Forza and Halo. But that's only two. They need more than that. I'm not bashing those franchises. I love Forza. You guys saw my last video uploaded was a Halo 4 documentary because I'm interested in that. I'm just saying that it's not enough. I need more than two quality franchises. Yeah, there's Gears of War, but Gears of War is done. Their contract with Epic expired. See what I'm saying? So I'm sure a lot of you saw that interview a long time ago with that Microsoft executive. I forgot which one it was. But basically, he basically just came out and said, "We don't care about exclusives. We don't care about having a lot of exclusives. We're just gonna have one or two each year and just make off all our money off of multi-plats and time exclusivity deals on Call of Duty. Basically that's what he was saying. So I'm like, Microsoft, how could gamers get excited for your console when you obviously do not care, about making games for them? I remember at the beginning of this generation, Microsoft was like the 360 was the system to get because it had all the third-party support, it had all the exclusives. Xbox Live was awesome and cheaper then. Microsoft was getting it in the beginning of this generation, minus the hardware failures, of course. But the 360 was a great system because it had a lot of games. But as its lifespan, starts to dwindle a bit, Microsoft has just been putting out just less and less and less exclusives. And they've really betrayed their hardcore fan base that got them to where they are today. And that's the people who bought the original Xbox and Halo 1, and Halo 2. And like it's funny because I see a lot of people talking about Nintendo left the hardcore gamer. Nintendo shafted their fans. They don't care about their fans anymore. And I'm looking at them. I'm like, Nintendo is still making games though. You see what I'm saying? So how could you say that about Nintendo, and not say that about Microsoft? You say Nintendo left the hardcore gamer, all they want. Do they not have a Smash Bros. Game on the Wii? Do they not have a Zelda game on the Wii? Donkey Kong. You see what I'm saying? Like, people say Nintendo left their fan base, but they're still making games in the franchises that they've always, had. So I'm saying that doesn't make any sense. But Microsoft, on the other hand, they're starting to put out less and less and less and less exclusives. And I know some of you may be saying, some, just Xbot loyalists gonna be, oh, that's because the 720 is in development, yada yada. That's understandable. But like the exclusives drought started like back in 2009. We should not have gotten the drought that early. Okay, in 2010, we all know the Wii U was, in development since, like, I think it was, they started development of the Wii U in 2008. In 2010, the Wii still had plenty of first party exclusives that came out that year, and so did 2009 for that matter. So it shouldn't. I'm saying the lack of exclusives shouldn't have started that early. So you can't really use the new console, excuse for that. And really these past 3-4 years, it's just been a repeat of Halo, Forza, Gears, Halo, Forza, Gears, Halo, Forza, Gears, Halo, Forza, Gears. It's like, get some more franchises. I don't necessarily mind these. I don't mind these franchises, continuing. It's just the fact that when you keep seeing them, and they're the only things there. Like, there's no other option, for 360 gamers. If somebody's not interested in Gears, Halo, or Forza, then they're pretty much not interested in the 360. Period. Period. Unless, of course, they're just those people who buy, their multiplats on 360 because that's where all their friends have it. But, I'm talking from an exclusive, mindset. So, like, that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. It's like, how could you... I don't see how they could basically come out and express that they don't care about exclusives and expect hardcore gamers to be excited for the next generation system. And why would I buy multiplats? Why would I buy a system for multiplats? You see what I'm saying? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Especially when I have a game PC, so I can just buy the superior, version on that. Or, for people who don't have game PCs, for the Nintendo gamer could just get the multiplats on the Wii U, along with his Smash Bros. And Metroid and F-Zero. Hint, hint. I know something. But, yeah. And then, for the Sony gamer, why would Sony gamer buy a 720 for multiplats when they could get all those multiplats along with their Metal Gear and God of War? Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Microsoft, your system will be nothing if it doesn't have exclusives. Like I've always said, exclusives are the most important part of a system. And if you don't got exclusives, then you don't got me. Peace.